Yes, good afternoon. Yes, I know it's Sunday afternoon and it's a little ahead of time, but I'll use that as a backdrop for a couple prayer requests. Number one, my wife and our older son are going up to Moody Bible Institute Founders Week for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have some meetings, but it's also the 60th anniversary of Moody Men's Glee Club, and so it's going to be a fun time. And we also have a MDL kickoff meeting uh, on Wednesday at noon. So it's going to be a full time while we're there. Feel free to email me. I'll try to be on the email as often as I can. You can also text me, and feel free. You can try the phone call, but it may or may not. Uh, may be in meetings where I cannot be able to talk to you. So we'll be home Wednesday night. As we enter this week, uh, we are building a basis for biblical interpretation, and that foundation is so crucial. Now, you have two short video clips to watch, plus the Niebecker article that you then have an essay chart to critique it, and you have those directions in the weekly assignments to put in one or two paragraphs. A paragraph is more than one sentence. So, a paragraph typically has two or three sentences, maybe 5 or 6 or 10. You read some of the Apostle Paul's paragraphs, and Ephesians 1 begins with a sentence that has 130 some words as he wrote it for us to put into one sentence. So do a good critiquing job on that. The discussion board is a very complex discussion. I ended up checking them off. You're to copy and paste those 9 items, and then you put them in the arrangement that you want them. You can copy and paste those right into your post, and at least when I worked on it, I could move number 9 up to number 2, and the numbering all changed. So it may not do that, but you can get them arranged the way that you want to that way. And then you're to describe what you might do if the first 2 criteria contradict one another or stand in tension. So now you got to rank them. You have that question to discuss. You also need to discuss the issue in relationship to Genesis 22 and Psalm 89, and the issue of God's knowledge described in the lecture, the issue of God's knowledge, a discussion of knowing, of God's knowing in Genesis 22 and Psalm 89. So those are, it's a kind of a complex, almost sounds like a paper you ought to write. I would also appreciate prayer for kind of a simple thing, but it's not simple. I am having trouble accessing Blackboard on my computer. Now, the crazy thing is, my wife has the exact same computer, except that it's 6 months older. I had a problem with it, so I bought another one so I would have a good backup, and I thank God I have a backup, because hers works just fine. So I'm producing this video on my computer, then I'll get the information over to her computer, and I will be able to post the video to you as well as the class announcement. But I'm hoping that ITS will be able to help me resolve this issue. The encouraging, frustrating part is that early this morning I was on and Blackboard opened just beautifully. So if any of you have a good clue on how to resolve that, I would be most happy to receive that suggestion. So that's what's on the agenda for this week. It's a good week to continue learning together. And my prayer is that as you study these issues, that you allow God to work in your heart, and that you become a person after God's own heart, as David is described in Acts, a person who will do all of God's will, because we can have all the knowledge in the world, but if we don't have a heart after God, it's a futile exercise. So God bless you as you study in week number 5.